Oh, does you have a head? Hi.
I'm not hearing anything on stream, by the way. Just want to let you know.
Got to change the microphone. Hello, welcome everyone. My name's Kevin. It has been a day today. I tell you freaking what. Why am I speaking like this? I have no idea. Maybe I want to be a little close and personal today. And we're just gonna paint ourselves some happy little trees, and then just a nice little river just going right through. This will be our little secret.
Little tree.
And right above us, over here, we have our wonderful Allie. And over to our other side, he could be considered a cousin, Tavik. And I am your host, or your co-host, if you will, Kevin. Hey, welcome in, everyone. Oh, man. So we got quite a few going. So Nintendo Direct happened yesterday. Any thoughts on that?
Tamagotchi Live!
Yeah, the final thing. Tamagotchi?
Tamagotchi.
Yes.
I don't know. I never played it before.
So because we're old, right? We know what Tamagotchi is. That was a thing from our day.
Oh, I was thinking of something else, but yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
We're keeping little sprites alive on our handheld Tamagotchis, trying to make sure that nobody shows up as a ghost. And then, of course, all the off-brand ones, like they did the Digimon Tamagotchis and all the other fun stuff. That was fun.
A little Buzz Lightyear, and you keep your aliens alive. Yeah, I had that one. I had that one instead. if your batteries lasted that long. Let's just put it that way. You might want to check your microphone, Allie.
It's fine.
No, it sounds like it's not coming from that microphone. It sounds like it's coming from somewhere else. I thought something was off. I wasn't sure. Gigapets for my chow obsessed is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Am I right on that one? Oh man. I love that game. Sonic Adventure 2 was amazing. I love it. Sí, señor. Guess who, Allie? Okay, yeah, we don't have anything right now. So you definitely killed something. So anyways, Tomagotchi is what they call it. And so we've been saying it wrong this whole time here in America, apparently. But yeah, that's a thing. It's going to be another Hello Kitty Highland Adventure, but with Tamagotchis. So that's always fun. And we finally got word of Metroid Prime 4 that every fanboy has been screaming about for every Nintendo Direct for the past 5 years.
Well, they've got a new one.
There you go. She's got it.
It's still serious. I got to get rid of it.
It's not. It has its hiccups.
I know the SteelSeries life.
Yeah. He lives it. We just merely adopted it.
I was born in it. Folded man. I never saw the light of day until I was already a man.
Oh my gosh.
Oh dear.
So Tavik, did you ever watch the Nintendo Direct by chance?
I have not. So I don't. A lot of my friends keep up with that stuff, so I tend not to pay attention to it much because I will literally hear about it from every angle, left and right. And so if you say something about something that I've heard about, I will chime in happily. But until then, like Metroid Prime 4, I mean, obviously we've all been waiting for that. I believe the release date for that is still in the air for this year.
But later this year. I want to say Q4.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but they don't have a direct date yet. It just says 2025.
No. That's why I say it's going to be around Christmas time. Bet money on it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
100%.
gonna say earliest October, because October seems to be a real good release month
Yeah,
for gaming.
that would still be fourth quarter, I would think.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely fourth quarter.
September through December. So
yeah. There was something else. Oh shoot! I just had
The
it.
family cartridge thing, they announced that.
Yes, that's gonna be interesting. It's not gonna be as broke as when you have like a Steam family kind of thing where you could share games and all that. But it's a
Hey,
cool idea. I'm not gonna lie.
it is cool. I like the whole because I have my daughters on our Nintendo family, and my oldest has some games my youngest wants to play, and I'm like, you guys could like link up, and now you could give your game to her, and she'll shut up
You can share. Damn it!
for 2 weeks only.
I think I share it again.
Oh man.
Oh.
It just think about it. I know I made the joke earlier, but you don't have to actually physically blow in the game of another person anymore.
No.
Here,
Well,
take
we're
this
gonna-
game. Don't forget to blow in it.
Yeah, we're gonna start getting N64 remasters, which, as we were talking before the podcast, we have not heard any word about the N64 mini yet.
The classic.
The classic.
channel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, is that even going to be real? Like, or is this just imagination?
The expectation they were saying originally was 2025. So
Oh, okay, so they're
I
still
was
on board
hoping to
with
see it because I was hoping to see it or at least hear something about it because I was like the end. I think it was the end of last year. It was a video game showcase the end of last year. I can't remember which one it was. I watched it with a couple of buddies of mine, and they even talked about it then, saying somewhere in late 2025 is what they were expecting. Now, obviously, that's subject to change. There's always going to be pushback, and to October could be GTA. We'll see. It's
Is
like,
GTA
hey man,
happening?
like I'm just gonna assume that GTA is like the video game version of Tool, and it will. There's always gonna be somebody saying it's coming, but it's gonna be a little late, and then it just gets pushed back every time. So
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not entirely wrong on that one.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we've seen the gameplay, we've seen the we've seen the videos
We've
and the
seen
trailers and
previews,
stuff.
Yeah, we've seen
And
leaks.
that's great. That's great. But at the end of the day, is it really going to come though?
You gotta have it, or else it ain't there, man. Like, dude, we got freaking AI Ghibli images before we got GTA 6.
We got a lot of things before
We got a
GTA.
lot of things.
We got self-driving cars before we got GTA 6. I mean,
you might get Shrek 5 before GTA 6.
Oh my, redone Shrek nonetheless.
can we talk about that animation really quick?
I can't with it. I can't with it.
What
The
is
uncanny
everyone's
valley
beef
of it.
with it? So let's be real. What am I missing? I missed the memo. What's going on?
He looks weird.
He's older.
The proportion. Well, so here's the thing: the proportions of the animation seems to be a little different than what we know, and a lot of these, and a lot of it usually harkens back to the same thing that like cartoons do too, where you get a change in animation studio or change in teams, and you get people who are you get people who come in who are new, who are trying to take some type of inspiration from the original content, but then it changes. They put their own little spin on it. And while I don't necessarily think it's going to be bad, I am very, very excited to see that cast reprise their roles because I loved at least the first 3 Shrek movies. And I thought they were a lot of fun, even if they weren't fantastic movies. They were fun movies. And it's nice to see that kind of coming back to do its thing again. So. But the animation is a little off, and it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Shocking. Shocking is an okay word, I guess.
It's weird. It's weird to me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It is very weird to see.
They're
But
just they're
you know,
brighter than they should be. I'm so
here's the thing: is like one thing we've learned over the years, especially with the Sonic, we call it the Sonic treatment. We'll remember when the original Sonic trailers came out, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, what is this?" Um, and they actually listened and was like, "Okay, well, thanks for telling us, guys. We're gonna fix that."
Right.
And they
He's
did,
creepy.
and they fixed the animations on the Sonic movies, and they made Sonic look more like Sonic and not some weird humanoid amalgamation of Sonic the Hedgehog and
Right. But here's the thing.
Gary
It's,
Busey.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, now I see it.
Oh my God. But see, here's the thing. It's not like
Let's
we're taking
talk about
some
butter toast.
abomination of Shrek and it's like, all now he's got hair or whatever or shiny skin. It's just what from what I understand, his eyes are a little normal. Like
It's just weird. It's just
Some
weird
of
looking.
it's not that weird enough to be like, we need to change it now. Like, I petition. It's not that
See,
bad.
I agree. It seems almost deliberately weird. Like it's intentionally trying to be a little shocking to viewers, but we're also having to
Yeah.
remember that the first Shrek movie, if I remember correctly, was it 2001?
2001, yeah.
I was
So
gonna say I can look it up.
Yeah,
I
please
want
do.
to say it's 2001.
It was definitely early 2000s, 100%. Which then would mean it was in production for the past 3 years, so since
2001.
Yeah,
April
so
of 2001.
2001. It is 2025.
Yeah.
So we're talking that much time, not only to change the CGI, to change how we process digital animation.
Right. So
You can't
what
expect
about-
everything to stay the same.
Exactly, and that's what my beef is. It's like, what's wrong with this change? It's not bad. It's in a different direction than what we're used to.
I actually remember the word I wanted to use. It's jarring.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It is for somebody who grew up with something, right? And we see a physical change in it. It can be very jarring and kind of hard to absorb.
I understand that, yeah.
And while I'm not saying it's bad, I am saying it feels bad. It may not necessarily be bad.
Just don't like it.
And then you got people that you just can't please. It's weird. No, trust me, my sister was the same thing. We had the same conversation. Like, we're just like passing by. It's like, you ever see that Shrek movie? It's like, yeah, I don't like it. The animation looks weird. Why? Because it just does. It's just okay. You're afraid of change. I get it. Whatever. We had this whole conversation about that, so I was like,
yeah, and to be 100% fair, and this is me calling out our generation, right? We tend to look at a lot of things with nostalgia lenses.
We do.
Our particular generation of people, is very heavily nostalgia driven, and because we have a lot of stuff in this current generation being remade because people are having a hard time creating new content.
Yeah.
We are being hit very heavily against that nostalgia, and we're having a hard time absorbing that overall. So
yeah, actually, that's a good question. Didn't people say that about the Spider-Verse? Then it blew up.
Yeah, that was when it first it was during the original trailers for that movie. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, this looks so weird," because because of the animation style they were doing it in, and as a comic book nerd, I was actually super excited about it because I really enjoyed Miles Morales as a character in the Spider-Man comics. And Into the Spider-Verse is an awesome comic book series, and the fact that they in the comics they merge all the different universe individual comics together for an issue, and like an issue or two in each one, and then they have Into the Spider-Verse as a comic chain. So you always get information from all the different comics plus the Into the Spider-Verse comics. It was really, really neat how they did it.
Yeah, at least
but anyway, that was
what? I'm a comic nerd. I'm sitting here going, they've done that with multiple things, and it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. Marvel typically has always been the better of the group doing the multiverse thing. However, I still maintain that multiverse stories are literally the writer's way of soft retconning and writing themselves out of their own holes because they don't know how to otherwise.
I will agree with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
I will agree with that. And a reboot is just a way of saying we messed up. Let's start over.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. You know, what's hold on. The New 51. I'm not gonna New 51 any names. But
Okay. That's over my head, I guess.
that's a DC reference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why
I'm like, I know
it.
exactly
Gotcha.
where we're going.
So, but yeah, it was so bad they literally had to rewrite it again.
Oh wow.
I don't even think they made it through a whole year of comics before they ended up soft rebooting it a second time.
Jeez,
Yeah.
ow.
Yeah,
DC was struggling hard at that point.
I mean they still are, but you know Marvel's actually not really doing so hot right now either, with both their cinematic universe content and their comic books. But comics are not doing so hot at the moment. So
they're too woke right now.
well, even
They're
if you
starting to
even if you don't consider the direction the writers have taken, right? Comic book sales have traditionally gone down and down and down over the years because of the digital age,
Yes.
and more people are able to pirate those things online, and we have seen a just an overall objective change to how we take in media material, and it's nice to see that as a whole because it offers more people access to it, but and more mainstream access, but it also has brought down a lot of other facets to the same market, like comic book sales. Comic book sales overall have taken a huge hit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I go to my local comic book store. It's actually called Windows Comics. I love that place. A small little joint. Love it. Guy's awesome. But there's only like a handful of people there. Like at a time. Like when I was there was only at least like 3 other people. I was like, dang, man.
I mean, you got to imagine back in like the 70s, 70s and 80s, kids were paying 25 cents for a comic, and or 10 cents for a comic. I think it's or even earlier, and there were lines out the door waiting for particular comic books. Like
I believe
you know, a new Superman comic came out, a new Fantastic Four comic came out, a new Iron Man comic comes out, and people are like literally out the door waiting for them, and pre-orders for them are through the roof. And nowadays you can't even. I think a local comic here told me last time I went in there there was a new Spider-Man comic coming that was supposed to be super popular, and dude had like 5 pre-orders.
Oh geez.
And I think total copies he got was like 15 copies.
Yeah.
So, area aside, and
Right.
I live in a kind of weird area that's like this hybrid of metropolitan and country. But yeah, that's typically what I've personally seen.
Yeah.
Y'all are
Well,
reminding me to go get my pulls. I need to go get my comic pulls.
You're welcome.
Thank you. They're gonna kill me.
Well, yeah, this place that I'm at, like, just to kind of clarify, like, it's right off of a busy street in the central in a somewhat central part of the city, and it's like, it should get a lot of traffic, but it just doesn't. So, and it's like you said, the whole digital era is starting to come over. So.
And I go to our comic book store and it's bustling and there's all kinds of people in there.
Was
That's
it one on Grape Road?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's always busy though. I love it.
I love that place.
That place is fun. I do like it.
I love to see that stuff succeed when it does still, because it's part of a culture that I hope never dies.
Me too.
Yeah. Side note, before we move on, I did want to touch one thing on the Nintendo Direct, and it first thing when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I've seen this somewhere. It is actually it came directly from Secret Level. It's the Pac-Man game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's becoming a real 2D side-scrolling game now. Like, oh my god,
Yes.
it's dark.
That episode was like, if I didn't know that it was Pac-Man related by reading the title of the episode, I would have never guessed it to the very end.
Yep.
It is so different, but it's so good.
Yeah, and this, from what they showcase, it seems like the two are almost identical. Like they like copied each other's homework, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it's going to be very similar to what the main objective is, and that's Pac-Man's trying to get to the real world, and you just got to restart. I'm like, that's going to be the premise of the game. I'm like, like you got to eat to survive, and like that was the whole premise of this the episode. I was like, ooh. So that'll be interesting. But on that, you know, you had some more JRPGs, stuff that I'm not interested in, stuff like that. But.
Okay, you know, I didn't hear about this one. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remakes.
Yep.
That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be coming out, yeah. Which that'll be nice. I'll honestly, stuff like that will be nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of decent stuff that got announced. I mean, there's a new Pokemon, but when is there ever not a new Pokemon game?
Every 3 years, there's always a new Pokemon game, and this one, you're in a city where the darkness falls. You know, the hoodlums run the streets, and you know there's fight clubs. Basically, it's fight clubs.
You can rob people.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So GTA with Pokemon, like,
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
It was only a matter of time, man. You know, Pokemon Company and Niantic. Look, if you guys ever watch this stuff, there's a time when you just gotta let a sleeping dog lie. You know, just let it go, guys. You can beat a dead horse only so much, and I know they're making tons of money. They're still doing really well.
They're going to start making things out of batteries and bullets. You know, oh, that's a Pokemon now. What kind of Pokemon is that? I don't know. Throw a dart against the wall.
We already have the Electro.
Yeah, they have Pokemon that are hello.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What's going on there? Hi.
All right, so,
yeah.
They already have Pokemon that are made of trash cans and garbage dumps and
cell phones and teapots and
ice cream cones, keys.
Oh god, the keys, yeah.
They got one that becomes other Pokemon.
Right.
They got two of those, don't they?
That's an OG.
Porygon and Ditto.
That is no. Ditto is OG, but there's another one.
Yeah.
There's that creepy one.
Was it? It's the one that always looks like a
Mimikyu.
Pikachu, right? Yeah, Mimikyu.
Yeah. I don't know why I remember that one, but
that one creeps me the heck out.
That one does?
Oh.
Yeah.
Out of Gengar?
Yeah.
Which is a dead Clefairy?
I don't care. I like Gengar.
Like, it legit is a dead Clefairy. And when I saw that video, I was like, I can't unsee this anymore.
I'm fine with it.
I am too. It's just it got dark, man. Our past
Pokemon
was
is dark.
dark.
When you look at the core of Pokemon, it is very dark. I mean, it's like having, what is it, like a fight club? Like you're literally training up your animal to put it into a fight club.
Yeah.
Horrible.
The boxing rings. The underground matches.
What happens in Pokemon World stays in Pokemon World.
Rule number 1.
Oh.
What's up?
I think I fixed it.
Okay. Welcome back.
The things that happen live.
Yeah, right? So I mean that's kind of all that happened. So there was something else that was like, ooh, that sounds interesting, but I can't remember what it was. But Nintendo Direct was kind of the biggest thing that just happened yesterday. So I was like, cool. I haven't really noticed a whole lot that's been happening in the past 2 weeks. So
Not really. Not that I've noticed. I mean, if we're missing something, feel free to chime in, anybody that's watching.
I've been busy. I've just been busy, so.
I've been doing a lot of homework.
I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter.
Which brings us back to the point.
Which, yeah, let's get into it. So we all kind of know what Monster Hunter is.
I don't.
So for the ones who don't, Tavik, what is Monster Hunter?
Let's get started here then. Monster Hunter is a basically like a hack and slasher RPG style of game where you hunt down and murder poor innocent animals.
That's key right there. That's key.
Poor innocent animals.
Some are poor and innocent.
And then you carve their bodies up and make weapons and armor out of their flesh.
Oh.
All right. All facetiousness aside, it is a very, very popular Japanese game. It was super popular in the East. It didn't really make a huge mainstay in the West until about Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, Generations, and Monster Hunter World were kind of like the three games that really kind of made it massive over here. So there's a lot of history with Monster Hunter. I think the first game came out in 2004.
2000. Yeah, 2004.
Yeah,
in
2004.
North America.
Yeah, for the PS2, and then it was like a year after that we had the release to the PSP, which was Monster Hunter Freedom. And I think for this, I'm just going to stick to the American releases because a lot of there are far many more Japanese releases that they got. And one of the things that Capcom does with Monster Hunter is they'll release a main game, and then they'll release a secondary title to that game that has a lot of updated content. So you'll get Monster Hunter Freedom, Monster Hunter Freedom 2, both are very similar, and then you'll get like Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which was really similar to Monster Hunter Freedom 2, but had updated weapons and updated missions and things like that. Had expanded the game almost by double. A lot of content in Monster Hunter Freedom 2. Arguably my favorite of that first generation of games, because I played everything from the OG. I actually started with Monster Hunter Freedom on the PSP and then went back and played the PS2 version. And then that's where I kind of started falling in love with the franchise. I have probably 50 to 60,000 hours in this franchise. So,
he's gonna tell me about it, and I was like, I believe
arguably my favorite franchise of all time, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. So it is the basic premise of the game is you usually belong to a particular team, and that team is tasked with going out and researching aspects of the world that you're currently exploring at that time. And then you're tasked to hunt down and take out monsters that are being unruly or uncontrollable, wreaking havoc on an environment, so on and so forth. Yeah. And that's about it. Now, the joke is you're an apex predator going into other environments with apex predators and taking them out and destabilizing environments. That's the joke. Because with how much people grind and hunt monsters in a game that has unlimited of them, it literally feels like sometimes you're just a butcher.
Yeah. True story.
So, now the going on, like the Wii was kind of Nintendo had got the rights to Monster Hunter back when the Wii came out for Monster Hunter Tri, which is some people call it Monster Hunter 3. It's Monster Hunter Tri, and then they made Tri Ultimate for the Wii U and the 3DS.
I do remember that one, yeah.
So Tri Ultimate was a continuation of Tri. All it did was expand, give you more missions, give you more armor and weapons, more monsters, that kind of stuff.
It's like a definitive edition.
Right, and with how well Nintendo was doing here in the West, in the States, because the Wii was arguably the best-selling console of that generation.
Yep.
And really, I say arguably, but it was by literally, I think, 3 to 5 times the amount of consoles sold compared to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And like I said, my numbers, I kind of did a quick math on that. I didn't really do a whole lot of in-depth research on it, but I know it was a lot a lot of a difference. Nintendo saw the success and decided to keep Monster Hunter on their roster, and so they brought it out for the 3DS as well with Tri Ultimate, and then introductions to Monster Hunter 4, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and then Monster Hunter Generations. And after Generations, we got the introduction of Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is probably the first game that really came out for all of the big consoles, all of the big names. So you PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
I'll be right back.
Yep. And what that brought the game to a whole wider populace. There's a whole bunch of mechanical changes, and really allowed the game to flourish in our market. Because one of the things that makes us a little different is the American markets tend to really kind of hone in on not only story, but also visuals, and like just the graphical aspects. It can be kind of tough with that because when, there is a much more grindy aspect in the East when it comes to gaming that they tend to attach to, which is why you get a lot of like Korean and Chinese games where it's like super hard on the grind. Over here, we tend to be a lot more relaxed with our gaming culture.
Yeah.
And Monster Hunter World kind of opened that up to allow a much wider player base, a much more popular player base.
I was gonna say World was the like the one that was always online. Wasn't
yes,
it?
so
Okay.
it was, yes, that was the introduction to complete online play, which you didn't have to have online play. You could play it offline. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but one of the things that Capcom's notorious for with Monster Hunter is there are online and offline questing, and there are only certain things you can do offline. So you'll actually lose content because you can't have access online. So one of those things in World was actually a massive raid that you could do for two different monsters, and you could only access it by being online. It was Kulteroth and Sappy Jiva, which Sappy Jiva was a big dragon that was the evolved form of World's base big bad, which was Xenojiva. Anyway, we'll get into monsters here in a minute because there are a lot of them, and there are some really cool designs out there.
Right.
And every game brings out a particular monster as their flagship monster. So, and cool thing is with Wilds, one of the flagships from Tri is actually coming to the game for the next title update. So that's going to be neat.
Yeah, I remember I was watching you play as like the first week it came out. We were in Discord chat, and one of the monsters was like frozen or something, and you were like, I recognize that form. It was like a lizard-looking form.
Fulgur Anjanath.
Yeah, and then it came out and fought this really stupid fast spider-looking thing. I was like, dang.
Yeah. So Anjanath was the original fire chicken, and he had a alternate form called Fulgur Anjanath, which was a lightning chicken. And I say chicken because he looks like a T-Rex, and T-Rexes are most common relative today is the chicken. Anyway, yeah, and that's the thing is like it's cool to see new games and not only make new content, new monsters, and Monster has always been really good about offering something new to the players, but also still giving you something from the old that people love. Right. That's one of the reasons I love this franchise, because they hit the mark like every time with, okay, we're going to give you a lot of the fan favorites, and we're still going to give you 9-10 new monsters that you've never seen before, right? And it really kind of offers a fresh gaming aspect for each game without you feeling too monotonous or too repetitive.
Right.
Now, there was two games there's one game between World and Wilds, and that was Rise.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
gonna bring this. I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. One of the things Monster Hunter does. I'm not gonna spend too much time on this because this really kind of each game kind of offers new mechanics,
Okay.
and I could talk on this for literally like 2 hours. Uh, yeah,
So
it's a
listen
lot.
up, Ellie. You're going to have to sit here for another 2 hours. Take
Well,
notes. It's going to be on a test.
I'm gonna hit the highlights of what made some games more popular than others and what made games not so popular.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start with Try because Try was kind of like the first one to bring a mechanical update that had a massive change to the gameplay style, which was aquatic fighting, aquatic and swimming.
Oh.
Try, yes, it is the only game that actually offered that.
Yeah, from when I've played before in previous games, there was always on land. You either had a trap or you just beat the creature to death really quick.
Right, right. So Try offered aquatic fighting and swimming, and it was a little janky. And people who started the franchise there really loved it, and a lot of the people who started the franchise earlier than that kind of hated it. So it made a huge divide on Try. It was popular. A lot of the old heads found some conflicts to it, and you know, obviously there were some of them that liked it, but I was one of the people who just really couldn't stand it. That was probably one of the games I put the less amount of time in. I only put, I think, 500 hours in about that in that game, and I just
Only.
yeah,
Only
yeah,
about.
okay. You know,
That's how much
you're talking to a dude who burned up like 5 PSP batteries playing Freedom 2 and Unite.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I had probably 10,000 hours in just that one game.
Oh,
Or
wow.
like for one game being Unite, I had about 5,000 in Freedom 2. So,
I was gonna say, I put in like 500 with Phasmophobia alone.
yeah. So like when I tell you I played a lot, I burned out 5 PSP batteries.
Wow.
Like actually killed the batteries playing that game so much.
Wow.
I believe that. I believe it.
Anyway, moving past it, when we look at generations added a couple new weapons. One of weapons was very vertical moving. So, and they Try kind of took away the fact that, okay, well, maybe people don't necessarily like the swimming aspect, but we can make our maps more vertical, up and down, more climbing, more aerial attacking. We can add something new. So when they added a weapon called the Insight Glaive that now allowed you to do aerial style of combat without feeling like you're conflicting with your environment, which was nice. And then all of the stuff still continues into World, where World you got the Clutch Claw mechanic, which allowed you to grab stuff as well as like jump onto a monster, and then you can weaken those points of the monster by using the Clutch Claw. You could also mount monsters, but that was actually added in Generations, but really became a big mechanic in World that allowed you to mount monsters, do damage to them, and even sling them into a wall. Like you could turn them and like point them at a direction and use the pods that you can attach to your slinger and launch them into a wall or other object that makes them fall over, does good damage.
Nice.
Rise, and this is kind of where we come back to Rise. Rise offered the wire bugs. Now, this was another. I liked Rise. It is probably the one I've played the least out of all of them. Only about 150 hours.
Oh, significantly less then.
Yeah, yes, because the wire bugs were so jarring to me to use, and the mechanics were so they weren't very precise. They were kind of janky. So while I could see what they were doing was a cool idea, and I would have been for it if they had a little bit more fine control to it. Every time I played with the wire bugs, trying to make it so like I need to land right here, it would always land me around that spot that I wanted to land, never where I wanted to land. So fine control for the aerial bugs was kind of off, and people liked it. There were people who did like it, and that's cool. You know, you had a cool new mounting mechanic that came with the wire bugs, where you could like literally use the wire bugs as a harness and ride the dragon or monster around and control it for a little bit, make it fight another monster. That was neat.
Oh, that is dope.
Yeah, it was actually kind of cool, but it was such a janky process that I just couldn't keep playing it. Which brings us to Wilds. Now, one of the things that I will say is each game is significantly different and takes place in a completely different area. Monster Hunter World, you were part of I think it's the 5th Fleet or 6th Fleet. And now in Wilds, you're in the Avis unit. A completely different group of people. Like, none of the games are interconnected in any kind of way that directly. There is a very obscure story behind it all. And if you guys want to hear about lore later, we can get into that, because there is some pretty gnarly lore behind it all. But focusing on Wilds right now, basically, you're a hunter that's a specialist hunter, mind you. You're like the top of the crop when it comes to your skill, right? And you're tasked to go out and assist the Avis unit in this new environment, which is it's a very chaotic environment. There's a lot of weather changes, a lot of new monsters, and there's a lot to find. And it's probably now the second game that has offered a very in-your-face storyline.
What was the first?
World.
Oh, okay.
So, the story, there wasn't really a super in-your-face storyline in Rise, because they typically mitigate a lot of the story for the ability to have more content in the handhelds. Handhelds don't necessarily have as much space to work with.
Right. Even like the first generations, like Freedom, the first, one that was in 2004. I remember specifically, like, you just went to a quest board, did your quest, and that was kind of it. You had like a small village, and then like what's the word I'm looking for? The guy who ruled, the overseer, basically. You can talk to him once in a while, but like.
Yeah, so you'll have like whoever's the head of the village, then you'll have your quest giver, your handler, as some might call them. Yeah. But realistically, all it comes down to is the world. In the handhelds, the story was very much in the background. Like, you could get it, but you had to go and read everything, do the research yourself.
Right.
Otherwise, it was just, hey, I'm going to take this quest and go kill this monster. I'm going to take this quest and go kill that monster.
It was like, oh yeah, no, it's just let's get some killing going on.
I really want this new pair of boots. I'm going to go slay this monster 6 times in a row, and hopefully I can get all the materials I need to make.
Right. Yeah. Keyword being hope.
Hashtag butcher status. Right. Anyway, but that's where it's at currently. I know you said you didn't want to mention this, but I have to say it because I'm going to say this just for Allie.
Yep.
So there was a movie. The movie is awful. Don't go watch it. It's terrible. It has Mila Jovovich in it, who she's a B-tier actor, actress at best. Her husband directed the movie. He's a terrible director. He directed the Resident Evil movies. Those were terrible movies.
Oh, hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta go.
Hey now. That is flinging fire. That is flinging fire, my friend.
I didn't have to say it this time. That's
fire.
Now it's on live. He doesn't have to say it in text. He can say just right now with his verbal words.
I will say it to your face, Allie. Those movies were awful.
Fire!
You're right. They should be lit on fire. Anyways.
Just wait till Halloween.
Oh.
Anyway. What are you gonna do? Nothing. That's right. You can't do nothing.
Anyway, so let's get back to Wilds because that is the premier game right now, right?
The movie that
Lots
was
of
supposed to have a story, it ended up not having one. Sorry.
Oh my god. So let's talk about. Okay, we'll go into the movie real quick.
Oh God.
It's an isekai story
Shut up,
Whatever that
really?
is.
with Americans
Oh my
going
God.
to that world.
So,
American soldiers going to that world. So
and
they're not even
isekai,
originally from there.
You want to explain isekai to her real quick?
Oh, does Allie not know what isekai is?
She doesn't know what isekai means.
Oh, so isekai basically means in another world.
Okay.
And it's the context of the story is protagonist is in one place, gets transferred to another world based off of X, Y, or Z.
Usually medieval magical places.
Yes, and a lot of the times they're supposed to be the hero, right? Well, that's basically what happens. Is I don't remember the whole beginning of the movie a whole lot because I was like, this is absolutely just way out there. But their whole unit gets transferred to this world, and they get stranded on this rock, and they're being hunted by one of the dragons that tends to live in the sand around the rock. And they have to, like, Tony Jaa's character has to come and help them. And then they slay that character. The main character, Mila Jovovich's character, goes and learns how to work the dual blades, and learns from the commander of whatever fleet Tony Jaa's character belongs to. And yeah, it's convoluted. And I want to say awesome. I want to say it is attached to Monster Hunter World a little bit. But I have to go back and double check. But by the way, the commander of that unit is Ron Perlman. So
oh man,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it just adds an extra level of cringe. Yeah, it's an extra level of cringe.
Oh, okay. So I just have to add this real quick. I think I just realized Doctor Who might be an isekai. He goes through portals. He does end up in a portal at one point. He ends up on a different planet. Like, by those standards, he could be an isekai.
Generically, though, not an isekai, because
no,
an isekai usually is like main protagonist goes to another world to be the hero of that world, then possibly goes home or stays in that world. Doctor Who goes to a lot of worlds and
he does go back to
not necessarily. He does, but does not necessarily interact in a way that considers him a protagonist in that world. Sometimes he is just there observing.
Yeah.
A particular interaction or so on and so forth, not necessarily interacting. And then other times he might be the villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
good point. Yeah.
So generically not as isekai as I think it'd be. Now, if we look at it in another way, yeah, sure. I mean, technically, if we look at it by definition, it's only in another world. Could be an isekai.
Right. I mean, he goes through warp holes, time holes, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
He gets transported to a new time, new dimension.
No yawning, girl.
Slipped out. It's been a long day.
Anyway, sorry.
Back to the monster. Now, Wilds was a very interesting release, mind you. Capcom was very worried about the performance capabilities of a lot of people's PCs, and they actually offered a beta test version of the game, a benchmark testing version of the game, to see how people run their stuff. So what we all found out was
yeah,
you actually need a pretty decent setup.
No, I have a decent setup. You need a boss setup to play this game.
Okay, that's not so. I have a decent setup too, and I'm running an average about 30 to 40 frames. So,
well, yeah.
The only thing I have over you is graphics card.
Graphics card, yeah.
Stand by 1 second.
Yeah. So what happened is we ran this benchmark test, right? And just so that we could see what Tavik's friend, if he could, because I have a similar specs to what he has, and I ran it, and it looked like just garbage, like almost PS2 graphics.
Yeah, hot doo-doo butter.
And it was low. Everything was on low. It ran at an average of 23 frames per second, I think, on low.
And mind you, now what Kevin has for like, we're very, very close spec-wise. We're running, I believe, the same CPU, the same amount of RAM.
Yeah, so there'll be the i7 8700K for the CPU.
Yep.
We have 32 gigs of RAM running at 3200 megahertz.
Yep.
But the only difference is I have a graphic card of a 1080, just the regular 1080, not the Ti. Whereas Tavik,
I'm running a 3080 non-Ti. So just the graphics card alone is making a frame difference of nearly 15 to 20 FPS. So which is, it's pretty substantial. And I'm sure if I used frame generation or DLSS correctly, because I haven't changed a lot of like, I'm not using any of the AI enhancement stuff. If I were to, I could probably squeeze a little bit more out of it.
Right.
But I'm just letting her run as she eats because I'm still waiting to upgrade. Anyway, yes, so you do need a little bit extra of a PC to run the game effectively, smoothly, and on a higher graphic load.
Oh yeah.
Now, the next thing I'd probably would be the game's mechanics,
which you were talking about earlier with the whole sling and all that, like.
Right. So the slinger makes a return. And one of the things about it that's changed though is now you can actually like grab objects and stuff from far away.
Right.
And it's a lot more consistent. So, right, yeah, like if I see a pod literally like 20 feet away, I can literally just pew and grab it.
Get over here.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's very, very handy and makes a huge change to the game, especially when you're trying to get certain items that are beneficial to you or even trigger traps. Yes, so you can actually, certain traps are triggerable using the slinger, like flash pod, like so your cat will lay out these flash pods, and you can trigger the flash pods with your slinger, or like vine traps and stuff, boulders. A lot of that stuff's like grabbable. You just kind of yank it, and it falls, and it'll land on top of the monster, so on and so forth.
Right.
But the other part of the game that made a huge difference was the general fluidity of the combat. When we talk about the combat Monster Hunter, it's always been kind of janky in a lot of ways. Very 1, 2, 3 standard kind of patterns.
Right. That's how it's been for a long time, with especially the first generation. You just had it was all about the timing. You got to jump back after your third hit. If I remember correctly, there were 7 weapons in the original game. You had greatsword, sword and shield, lance, heavy bowgun, light bowgun. I tried the bowguns. I forgot about those.
Actually, I think there were only 5. So I think that was it.
It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I think there were only 5, and then and then every so often, new weapons came out, new mechanics. There are 15 now. 15 weapons to use.
So the playstyles like expanded greatly, because I'm assuming a lot of them have a different playstyle. You know, where one you can like rapidly hit, and the other one you just got to take your time hitting them, and sometimes you get a mix of the two.
Some are super hard hitting, one attack at a time kind of thing, and others are very much you need to make sure you hit your follow-up hits to really stack your damage on.
Right.
And all of them are very, very different in combat style. So one of the weapons that I tend to play a lot of is dual blades and gun lance. Now, gun lance is the brother to the regular lance, and the only real difference you have is you have shells that are part of the weapon, and those are launchable as you fight. So you'll be stabbing an enemy, and then you could just hit the trigger, boom, and it lets off a round.
Yeah, I've seen it where you like you stabbed it and then you like drug it up as it like explosions happen through the air. I was like, that's kind of dope.
Yeah, so that's actually a new mechanic. Something that they changed in World. It was you had a you had kind of a slam down sweep, but
Mhm.
now the attacks are far more fluid in like 2 or 3 different angles. So you can
Okay.
hit, you can sweep up, you can sweep around, and you can actually follow up with a second volley and another spike. So cool thing about the gun lance is you can literally have a spike that comes out the end of it and you just shove it in the monster and it like hits 7 or 8 times, and each hits an explosion and it does damage. So, and then if you get stacked that twice, you're doing a pretty substantial amount of damage very quickly. It's just following up in a way that's not gonna get you hit back. And there are some monsters that hit very hard. So fast can sometimes be key, and that's one of the reasons why I play dual blades too. Dual blades are very, very fast weapons. There is a dodge mechanic that's attached to them, where you can literally, if as a monster's attacking you and you dodge at the same time, you can actually activate a perfect dodge, which puts you into a dodge attack state for a period of time. Every time you dodge, you will attack at the same time. So you can start jumping around the monster in a circle, and you're just hitting it constantly, which is kind of cool. That's a new mechanic, and really kind of brings out the most interesting facets of that playstyle.
So,
but yeah,
for Wilds, just to clarify, this game is just single player, or is it online co-op?
Oh, it is very much online.
Okay.
The premise of the online servers is you'll have, I think I've seen a max of so far 64 or 65 players in a server, but you can only have 4 people per hunt, and each time a person comes in, the monster's health will go up. So it tries to scale the monster to the amount of players that are in your current party.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes. Yeah. So, but realistically, when you speak about the damage and how how another person's damage may scale with yours, it may not make much of a difference at all, because I think I had a hunt earlier where we killed a tempered monster in like a minute and a half. Like all of us just started smacking on it, and it just.
All of those.
Yep. So, but anyway, yeah. So they made a lot of mechanical changes with the weapons. The combat is way more fluid, and it's made the game almost easier in a way. Like I don't. So one of the things that a lot of people have been saying is that Wilds is easier than Worlds, and I think everybody's been saying that, but they're a little. Now, in my personal opinion, they may be a little misconstrued about why it's easier. Some people are saying the monsters are easier. Some people are saying the added mechanics are easier. But I actually would think that the fluidity of the game has made it easier for the player to adjust to the finer mechanics of the monsters themselves.
Right. How often you can hit, the fluid of the motions is a lot easier.
How quick and easy it is to respond to an action. For their windups, how each weapon moves now is far more fluid than World, and it almost feels faster, and there's less time between your attacks. So, yeah, like you're just racking up that damage really quick, and you're able to dodge the windups because they're easier to catch, and it has made the game feel easier. I got through the game in 15. I got through the main part of the game in like 15 hours.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, it was in Worlds. It took me closer to 40.
Right.
So just now it is shorter too. I also want to preface that it is actually shorter than Worlds. There were technically more base monsters in Worlds, but a lot of those monsters were also variant monsters. So they were the same monster, just either a different color with a different damage output or different attribute kind of thing.
The lazy way. Gotcha.
New skin, not the skin on a old thing.
Yeah.
Right. So, but one of the things that Wilds has done very good of is they've added far more new content. So they're not utilizing as many old monsters, and they've added a lot of new monsters.
Okay.
So it has made a bit of a difference in how nice and how fresh the game feels, especially bringing back some of the subcategories of monsters that we haven't seen in a while, such as the spider-like monsters.
Ugh.
Yeah. So it's been a while since we've seen those. I think the last time we saw what I think her name was Nursilla was back in Generations and 4U. So we're talking about a game on the 3DS.
Wow.
That was way back.
Way back.
So
like over a good 10 years, it sounds like.
So when it comes to how the game plays, I think this game really kind of appeals to players who are into the just generic hack and slashers and RPGs.
Right.
I don't
so,
expect
like, say
anybody who
somebody
plays
who was like into Elder Scrolls or anything like that, they could jump into this fairly easily.
Right, and one of the other things I would say, if you're a Soulsborne player, you may actually learn to really enjoy Monster Hunter because it uses a lot of the same mechanics, especially when it comes to dodging. You have roll mechanics, and you have invulnerability mechanics as well. So one of the common terminologies that we might use is iframes, right?
Yeah.
Invulnerability frames, and you have those in Monster Hunter. So you have a dodge mechanic when you're running away from a monster. If you dive, like you use the standard roll mechanic while you're sprinting, you'll actually do a dive, and that dive is an invulnerability period. So if you get like a huge attack that's coming at you, you can dodge it by diving.
Yeah.
So it's basically the dodgeball movie.
dive, and dodge.
Dive, dip, duck, and dive. Dodge. Yep.
I said Elder Scrolls, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I meant Elder Ring.
Yep. I knew. I thought I knew what you meant. I just kind of rolled into it, so that's why.
Hey, call me out. I'm good. Like, I was like, wait,
long.
didn't I just say? I meant Elden Ring. Whoopsies.
Yeah. So even Elder Scrolls though, like it is very much there's not a whole lot of like shoot 'em up, bang bang kind of stuff. Like there's 3 weapons that are ranged weapons dedicated, which are the heavy bow guns, and you have a heavy and light bow gun, and then you have your bow and arrow. And they all offer different facets and different play styles, and it's very, very interesting. Which every weapon is so good in the game that no matter what you pick, you should enjoy something.
So you're gonna find your weapon. You just gotta kind of experiment with it.
Right. So every game that's come out, I will literally play every weapon just to see what changes they've made, to see which one I like better.
Fair.
In World, I never touched Gunlance. I didn't really like it. I felt like it was clunky, so I just didn't enjoy it. I played Hammer and Dual Blades, and those were the 2 weapons that I typically mained, and that was it. And then this game, I'm playing Gunlance again in Dual Blades, and I'm actually secondarying Longsword as well, which I haven't played Longsword since Freedom Unite. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
Along with the monsters, like I noticed when you were playing Wilds, it was like you went from kind of like a desert, and then you went to kind of like this freaking hollowed graves looking place where the flying creatures from Harry Potter, where they live, whatever the freaking
flying creatures from Harry Potter.
They're ribbon-like creatures, like it's been
Dementors.
Dementors, thank you. And then you go into a volcano at one point, fight an octopus, a fiery octopus, like
yes.
So this game is a lot of very it's diverse.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of different biomes that you go into, and all those biomes offer different monsters to fight. Now, I will say one of the things that's really, really cool about this game that I haven't felt in other games prior. This game actually feels alive. And what I mean by that is you have the ability to run around your environment. Worlds was kind of an introduction to an open map system.
Yes.
Which made the environment feel really nice because you could watch the monsters travel through. You can suspect their approach based off of like literally see them coming. In old games, they would just appear at the corner of the map where you would naturally process to the next portion of the map.
Yep.
Because it was segmented pieces, like they were basically levels.
Chunks.
Yeah, and you would walk from one, and you would just load into the next one.
Yep.
Now it's an open map, and the monsters move throughout the map. Well, Wilds feels alive because the monsters will interact outside of your position inside that map. So you will get notifications about monsters having turf wars, and you're at base. And yeah, it's crazy.
I
Like,
remember
it
that
literally
one.
feels alive, and it's so cool because that's something I did not see a lot in Worlds at all. Like, I didn't see monsters fighting each other. Monsters walking on each other in this map, they'll start fighting each other if they see each other, and it's awesome. And you don't even have to be there. You literally just watch it, like pull up your mini map and watch it going on.
Live TV.
So it's one of the cool things about the game, I would have to say, that draws me into Wilds is the customization of the characters. You make, yeah, it is honestly, I have seen people making some of the best stuff. I saw somebody make Kratos, somebody's made handsome Squidward, somebody is, like, dude, there is so much ability to individually enhance your character, fine tune them to what you want. Somebody made, like, I think Daniel Radcliffe the other day as a character.
Harry Potter.
Do that. Yeah, you can do that. Like, and that's the thing, is a game, like, there are people out there who literally just play this game to make characters.
Right.
And then the cool thing is you can share that character online and give people a code to download that character into your game.
Also, like The Sims.
Yeah, so basically, it's very, very similar to that same process. And once you put that code in, it will that character register that code, and it will automatically change your settings on that character to look like that character.
Yeah.
That's
on that same creation, though, I know you're talking about the characters themselves. I seen on TikTok the other day of people making the armor pieces look like characters. So, like, they're doing a lot of, like, Naruto and Kakashi Sensei and, like.
So now there is a caveat to this, right? There are people who are modding the game to do that as well.
This wasn't modded.
There are some armor sets that
I do believe it, though. Yeah.
There are some armor sets that do look a lot like colorations and
right.
You put different armors together, and you can make stuff look very close.
Yes.
To particular characters or
to resemble it, yeah.
Right. But there are people out there who are modding them. Like, the other day I was in a match and a dude popped in that looked just like All Might from My Hero Academia. Like, he literally had All Might's skin.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he was running around with a gun lance. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. That's cool.
Out of character, but yeah, sure, go for it.
but the thing is, Capcom's pretty loose about mods as long as you're not trying to steal from them or ruin the game for other people. So there have been a lot of counts for people who have been siphoning data, mining data, that have gotten banned.
Yeah.
Because obviously there are people that want to be like, hey, this new monster's coming out, this new item's coming out. And one of the things that has been on a big on the to-do list for players is we want a new weapon, because it's been a while since we've actually gotten a new weapon. And so what they're hoping for is Wilds will bring out the next weapon, and we haven't seen it yet. So nobody's data mined anything to see if that's been added or what's going on with that. Right. That I know of anyway.
So would you think they would bring it out in a DLC, or would you think they would just be right there from the get-go?
So it'll be in it'll be in the Wilds expansion. Yeah, I know.
I'm the only one that's still survived.
I blame you, Allie. I blame you. So I will say that if I were to expect anything, it would be the next expansion to Wilds, because if it follows the same progression of Worlds, they're going to offer one expansion and then move to the next title, which seems to be the system in which they've been doing recently. So Worlds had one expansion, and then Rise had one expansion, and But Capcom's really cool with how they do their title updates. So every so often they do a big title update, which will offer they're adding in new monsters or a new map or something along those lines. That'll help expand the game a little bit, not make it feel as monotonous. Because one of the things that is a facet of Monster Hunter is you will play the same monster over and over and over again until you get absolutely shredded because you're trying to grind for that 999 rank. Like hold on one second. I've got currently the game's only been out for a little over a month, I think.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And I've got 85.8 hours in it. Which if this was me, 15, 20 years ago, I would be laughing at that because I'd probably have double or triple that in hours in it.
Right.
But, at the same time, I don't play nearly as much as I do. Got kids, got family, that kind of stuff.
Life
got
happens,
responsibilities, But overall, there's a cool character facets that I like, and a lot of that's the character creation. Now, if we talk about characters that we interact with, I would say that they've done a lot about making very good characters, very solid, like supporting characters, right? Characters that you interact with as a player. So the new Blacksmith seems to be a very popular character.
Gee, I don't know why.
Yeah, and I'm not going to really go into detail with that. I will just tell you if you have read it, don't dig too deep.
I'll take your word.
He is a very well put together character. Anyway,
he ain't wrong. Anyways,
so your handler in this game is far less annoying than World. One of the biggest.
Handler?
Yes. So every hunter has a handler.
It's not that kind of handler, Allie. Just keep your mind out of the gutter.
So
the gutter filled now.
The handler is the quest giver, basically. She's the one they're the one that you talk to get all your quests, who give you the authority to do your hunts, that kind of stuff.
She's the one that tells you roll for initiative.
Basically.
Your dungeon master got it.
Yeah. So she is the liaison of the guild for you that you hunt for. And Alma is the name of the handler, and she is a very good, non-annoying character. Worlds, unfortunately, your handler was super annoying. Not a fan. I hated being called Pard all the time.
What's a Pard?
Which was like, Pard was their way of shortening partner. And so yeah, exactly.
Partner?
Yeah, exactly. So she'd be like, you'd be getting ready to do a quest. You'd be like, "You ready to go, Pard?
What's up, Pard?"
Hey, let's go get him, Pard. That's what it sounds
Take
like.
snur off of it.
Yeah, it just drove me nuts. I could not stand it. It's such a weird quirk to just not like, but I just could not stand it.
Where's the mute button? Damn it.
Exactly. But Alma's much better. She's well more put together, a lot more not as out there per se. And then of course the character that everybody hates is Nada. Nada is the whiny, the typical whiny. I want to harken into a project. Nada. He's the
sorry.
Yeah, the one that's got the short curly hair, black hair, and is the one that belonged to that group of keepers.
Okay.
Anyway,
I only came in part way to your game, so I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah, he's very much a. By the way, spoiler alert, everybody. He's very much an annoying character. No. He's very annoying, and he's that typical. I don't know if I can do this. Oh, constantly whiny.
Yeah. Find the power within.
well, and not even really that. It's just a, oh my god, what's happening? I need to, what's going on? I don't know if I can do this. Oh god, oh
The
god, oh
damsel.
god. Like, yeah, literally Mortying everywhere without actually being funny.
I love Morty.
Yeah, but without being funny. That's the worst part.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my god, jeez, Rick. Oh god.
Oh God, Rick.
No, he has a small redemption towards the end of the story where he's like, okay, I think I finally figured out who I am and what I want to do, kind of thing. And it's nice. Hold on one second.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I only seen a little bit of the story of what he's talking about. So like, there's like from what I understand, there was like something called an all forge. And so I'm trying to do the best I can to fill in. And that's where this lava place is. And like, it's like a seasonal thing. And for some reason, the All Forge didn't do its forged molten lava thing.
When the lava goes.
Yeah. And so they can't craft the weapons they need to defend themselves against the monsters. So then, okay, well, here's your quest. You're trying to figure out what happened.
So I will give you that whole, because spoiler alert, right?
I already spoiled it, so it's all good.
The Everforge is used to create ore that's utilized for their stuff, whatever it is.
Survival.
Construction, weapons, armor, all the fun stuff. And basically it was being the thing that's used to power the Everforge or create the effect the Everforge runs off of was being corrupted. So
global warming.
God. Oh my God.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Oh my Lanta.
So yeah, basically it was being corrupted, could not function as proper. You go, you fix it, and then it basically built up a bunch of pressure and then went nuts. And then after that, you have to now go and fight the monster that's there to try and fix the Everforge, because there's a monster when the Everforge like kicks up super hot, a monster that comes up from the depths, and that is the tentacle monster that you fight.
He was only trying to help, and you killed him?
Well, so you don't know that he was there to help. All you know in the story is that the guy who you talk to tells you, oh, the last time this happened, because it did happen apparently before. The last time this happened, New Udra popped up to try and feed off the power of the forge.
Take away from your what they were trying to do.
Right. So you can think of this two ways. Either he was there to try and like help balance the forge out by feeding off the forge, or he was there just to wreak havoc and get a meal.
Right.
So either way, however you interpret it, it was still really interesting. You're fighting an octopus, basically. One of two in the game, mind you, which was kind of interesting because that's a brand new monster type that had never been seen in any other games before. So
that's cool.
It was it was definitely really, really interesting to have that fight, and each tentacle is like individually severable, and like it was fun. Honestly, he's one of my favorite monsters to fight in the game. So what else we got?
Well, I mean, we kind of went over what your favorite character is, the biggest draw, but I guess we could always end it with tips and tricks. Like, what would you give someone something new who hasn't played Monster Hunter ever? Like Allie, what would you tell her? Talk to Allie.
It's very much the same thing I would tell people for playing Elden Ring or Dark Souls, or learn the mechanics first. Don't focus too much on the weapon first. Focus on the mechanics. Learn how to dodge.
Okay. Dodge. Why didn't you dodge?
But that's exactly it. Learn the mechanics first, and then find the weapon that you like, and then go from there. And stick to it. Like, it can be overwhelming to join a new game of any kind, right? A game you've never played before, especially when it has so many iterations of its previous selves, and the mechanics that you're nowhere near familiar with. Just stick with it and don't let it discourage you. I think Wilds is a great place to start if you haven't played Monster Hunter, because of the fact that it is so fluid and it is actually easier to pick up. The the items and stuff, you'll learn to manage that as you go. There are different ways you can manage it. There are like 2 different item activation mechanics. So you can either use a rotary wheel, or you can use the scroll window. So you have options to use based off of playstyles that you want to create for yourself. You have 15 different weapons to choose from that are going to offer you an immeasurable number of different ways to play the game. And you also get a chocobo. So
That's right.
for my Final Fantasy friends out there, yes,
It is
you have a
essentially
mount.
a chocobo.
So one of the things they offered in World that was different was a mount, and the mount followed into Rise with the Palamutes, and then from Rise, now Wilds, you have the Sacred, which are basically chocobos. They're birds.
Giant birds, rideable birds.
Yep. Yeah. Think of a bird raptor that you're riding around on. It's actually kind of cool. And you can actually glide on them and stuff.
It's better than a tauntaun.
Yeah, you jump off a cliff, and you just hit the trigger, and he spreads his wings out. You just glide.
Yep.
It's not a great glide, but it is a glide. Otherwise, they don't take fall damage, so you can literally just jump off super high stuff if it's available to jump off of and land. Perfectly fine.
Like that.
Other than that, though, I will say the Sacreds changed the game a little bit because of how the AI is and what they offer as a mount. So you have the ability now to switch to hot swap a weapon, so you can carry technically 2 weapons on you.
Oh.
And the Sacred holds the second weapon, so you can hop on the Sacred and then change your weapon out. And what I normally do is, so for my dual blades, which I like to carry secondary elements. FYI, I didn't mention this earlier, but weapons and armor, weapons have elemental attributes a lot of times. So fire, water, thunder, ice, and lightning are the 5 main attributes, and then you have 3 sub attributes, which is blast, paralysis, and poison. Blast is a build up for an explosion.
Okay.
And I like to use secondary attributes because I feel like they, having poison or paralysis gives me more versatility than having to fight a monster with a particular elemental attribute and then have to go change my weapon to fight another monster with another element that is weak to another attribute. And I can just kind of rotate through the map and kill what I want without having to worry about swapping out weapons. But that's just me. Like, that's why I like using the secondary stuff, like the sub attributes, like poison, paralysis, and blast. And the monsters have varying degree of weaknesses to both. So, other than that, again, those are things you'll learn as you play. The biggest things is learn your mechanics, pick a weapon, play it. Play every weapon. Try every weapon. Don't let one weapon stop you because you're not familiar with it. There can be some weapons with a particular skill gap. Might be hard to figure out, like longsword. Longsword's become a pretty mechanically heavy weapon.
Really?
Yeah. It's got like the people who are great with longsword versus the people who are good with longsword. It's a massive gap. So like when you start really utilizing, because longsword has 3 different iframe generators.
Okay.
So you have multiple facets you can use to dodge attacks, but each one you have to do something different to activate. So it's the difference of having a physical attack that makes you dodge back, activates an iframe, or having you have to sheath the weapon and then strike out that activates a different one. Yeah, so it can be a lot to manage. But then you got guys who just pull out a lance and can literally block anything. I mean, there's a monster that fires a literal laser beam at you, and you can block it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool because now those blocks get a small cinematic added to them. So when you're blocking the attack with the big shield, it kind of zooms in on you on your back and kind of an angle, and it shows you like blocking the attack. Yeah, making it more of like a cinematic piece. It's really neat. Little small things that Capcom has really done to kind of make the game a little bit more enjoyable and kind of make it flared up a little bit.
Okay. Holly, any thoughts or concerns or questions?
Not really. I mean, I really feel like this is becoming a series of Allie gets explained a game she's never played before.
we're just game explaining you, right?
Oh god.
I feel like this should be a thing.
Listen, you did that with me in The Sims, so this is fair.
Fair.
You know, at the end of the day, it's all in fun, right? It's something new, something you've never seen before. Like, I watch y'all's podcast because you guys talk about things I've never seen before, or if I have, maybe I just didn't know a whole lot about it. For instance, like I've played the Silent Hill series, but I didn't know all the stuff that you guys talked about.
It gets deep.
And God forbid that you guys talk about my second favorite franchise, which is the Metal Gear series.
We need to.
Yeah, we got.
I'm here for that.
I love Metal Gear.
So
I'm all for that.
After the podcast, we'll have to discuss, because we set up a couple of podcasts for this year. So we'll have to we'll discuss. we'll see what we can do next together. This was fun. I like this.
Fun.
Yeah, so me with only playing like Monster Hunter 1 and Freedom on the PSP, that was even quite a lot, even for me. Like,
and it goes way deeper. Like, we're doing this in an hour and a half, or probably close to an hour with all the
right
prior goofing off.
But
there's probably easily 3 to 4 hours of content we can talk about, if not more. And that's lore, game mechanics, and how each individual game affected the series as its own piece. Because it really, realistically, each game has affected the series in some way. That's more than just I'm going to carbon copy print my game or this game to another game, and it's just going to be some minute differences. So the updated versions of the games offered so much more to the players than I think people even realized. And it offered fresh perspectives, new monsters, armor, weapons, things like that really kind of enhanced the game from just effectively an expansion.
Right.
So the Capcom has really done a great job with Monster Hunter. I feel confident that they're going to continue to do a great job. I hope that they continue to offer it on mainstay consoles rather than trying to go the portable route again, because I think putting Rise on the Switch was an okay idea, but the Switch really is, the Switch really fell behind the main consoles in capability, and it muddied the game down a bit.
Okay, I was just going to ask about that, because I seen it on sale actually the other day.
It is on PC, and you can play it on PC, but it's a port. So it's not exactly it doesn't offer any fresh perspective to play it on PC.
So my computer will play it at high graphics. Nice.
Yeah, so exactly. It'll play it well. It'll play it very well. The thing is, by playing it on PC, the only thing you're getting is better frame rates.
Right. Which I'm fine with that, honestly.
After
the benchmark I went through,
in the middle of a yawn.
God. Wow, that's 2-1. I'm still at 0, man. Come on, let's go. So with the Switch 2 coming out, though, what do you think of the possibility they might put a Monster Hunter on the Switch 2?
I could see it. However, it's still if I'm not mistaken, it's going to sit somewhere between the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 with capability.
Okay.
So Wilds isn't available to PlayStation 4. There's no more content being created
Right.
for.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be like graphically amazing to Switch 2. No, it's just going to be updated hardware.
I think we could see it possibly released as a ported piece. I would like to, honestly. I think bringing Monster Hunter. I think Nintendo is still going to hold on to their Monster Hunter holds, and I hope they do because it offers a different set of players a chance to play the game. That's why I've never been like super upset about companies utilizing Nintendo after the fact, right? Because there were there were a lot of like mainstay releases on consoles that Nintendo would be like, okay, we're going to create a slightly dumbed down version for the DS or even the Switch. Like for instance, Apex Legends, right? Apex Legends came out on the Switch last compared to being available on Xbox and PlayStation and the PC. And they offered it for the Switch, and it didn't run well on the Switch. But they still offered it, and while it never ran well, and I can imagine the frustration some players felt because they wanted to play a BR FPS game,
right?
But just it didn't do the job it needed to do, so they ended up taking it off of the Nintendo store. So it's not available on the Switch anymore. But it was still nice to see that those players don't get forgotten, right? So people don't need to go out and buy another $400 console in order to play a game that they want to play.
Right.
So, and that's also one of the reasons why I own a PC is because now at some point a game will be out on the PC and I'll be able to play it. So
PlayStation games are now like coming out to like PlayStation exclusives. I'll even say they're getting ported out to computer.
Sony is pretty notorious for doing that too. Microsoft's utilizing their Microsoft Store and pretty much offering those games on the rip to PC players. Sony's usually big about doing a time frame of what they want. So we're going to remain this PlayStation exclusive for 1 year or 2 years, and then we'll give it to others.
Right. Then it's Steam and
it's like God of War, Spider-Man were big examples of that, and they had them. Last of Us, and now that stuff's available. You can play it on PC all you want, but it was originally PlayStation exclusive, and they had it set up that way for a period of time, and then they said, okay, well now we're going to let other people want to play it can play it.
Yeah, which I'm not complaining about it. I kind of like it. I like how I'll stand by this every time. I like the exclusive games. Because then you get to see the developers really push to the limits of mainly graphics, but they also add a little bit more depth to the story, I feel. So it's not like, they get like spreading thin everyone to try and get this working on this working on, and this working on, and this working.
Well, and so one console. I agree with you. And a lot, when we look at the games as a playability standpoint, graphically as well as mechanically, when you create a game for a single console, you don't have to worry about utilizing that other consoles software and having to take into consideration the mechanical or computer components in that console that are different from the one you're designing your game for until you decide to port it. Now
exactly that's what I was trying to.
That's one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why most games are made on a PC and then ported to one or the other, right? It's because the PC offers the most flexibility when it comes to capability.
Yeah. That's why I like God of War and like Days Gone so much. Like they were amazing. I still love them.
Yeah. I could talk about God of War. I love God of War. Good series.
I got another one I've barely played. On that one. I'm sorry, what?
We're gonna fix that.
One I've barely played that one.
So I guess Tavik, you're coming out for about maybe 2 more episodes. Maybe
I've played the heck out of Metal Gear. So
I'm
Maybe
actually-
you can replace her at one point. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that.
excuse me, this is the 20th time you've tried to replace me. 20th.
When you gonna
So
try?
I will full disclaimer, I like God of War, but I am not a God of War head. Like I don't know all the stuff about God of War. I've only
Right.
played about 3 of the games to completion.
Oh,
So
okay. That's fair.
but I will say that I completed the original God of War, completed God of War 3, and
Mhm.
I completed so technically 4 games because I did complete God of War and God of War Ragnarok. So
Oh, okay.
the new ones. So
Yep. No, I'm still working on
dude,
Ragnarok myself, so
dude, Ragnarok was good. It was so good.
it's good so far. I love
So
it.
freaking good.
So good.
Like the way they love lettered that game. Both
Yeah.
both the God of War and God of War Ragnarok, they love lettered them completely, and it really shows that even though they went a different artistic route and a different game style route, like gameplay mechanical route for the gameplay, it still offers enough of what God of War was to be worthwhile, like to feel the nostalgia of the original God of War games.
Right. And we can get all that on a whole different episode.
Right.
But for tonight, I think that kind of sums up the base of Monster Hunter and Monster Hunter Wilds. A little bit of the more recent games. But if anybody wants to hear more about the in-depth of everything, the 3 or 4 hours worth that Tavik can talk about Monster Hunter, let us know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to give us a like over on Spotify and here on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify and you want to be a part of the fun, hang out with us live, get some input, come over to us on YouTube. We stream every other Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which our next date is going to be next month on the 11th, it looks like.
It's
So
the 11th.
April 11th. Yeah.
Yep.
11th of April 2025. So come on out and join us. Have some good times.
It's a good one. It's a good one next time.
It's going to be a weird one because it's going to be different. Not something I really got into a whole lot in the more recent years, but it's something we can definitely talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, thank you everyone so much for coming out, hanging out, and lurking about. And Tavik, thank you so much, cousin, for coming out and elaborating on Monster Hunter for someone who's fresh and new. So
I enjoy it greatly. It is very much a love series for me. So if anybody ever wants to talk about it, I'm always open to chat. And also, one little last tidbit: if you're interested in lore stuff, just look up the equal dragon weapon. So that is an absolutely like really dark aspect of Monster Hunter that might be interesting. So.
Ooh, I like dark stuff.
She does.
I do.
The equal weapon? Oh, dragon
equal
weapon.
Dragon weapon.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Kevin's eyes make me want to look it up.
The size of that. Oh, my. I'm kind of blushing a little bit. My. Freaking A. No way. What the... So on that note, Allie, is there any final words you wanted for the stream?
I found a new thing to read about.
you gave her a new obsession here. It's the gateway. It's the gateway.
I like my lore.
She does. She also loves her Bucky. For the lore.
Tentacle arms.
I honestly did not realize you were wearing that sweater until now.
Come on now.
Oh, man. So anyways, till next time, take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend. Actually, started the weekend. Holy cow. And for some, it's spring break. So please be safe out there. Please take your time driving. We're all getting somewhere. We'll get there in time. So please, and drink water. Allie. Drink water. Drink your water.
Okay.
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 Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.